So in this video I want to be talking about how and showing you how I edited my images on Photoshop and created my magazine on InDesign and some of the things that I learned throughout the process, and I'm going to be showing you how I did them. I'm going to be talking about what I learnt using InDesign and also what I learnt using Photoshop. So what I learnt using InDesign is okay, so I'm going to show you how I learnt. So there's basic things like changing font and font sizes, and I'm also going to teach you how I did the curving of my words. So like as you can see here and there, it's a common theme throughout my whole magazine. And then I'll also show you how I did the padding and basic things like changing the color of the font and how I got the image to fit into its box. And I'll just show you that on here. So let's start with how you change text and stuff. So okay. So I created a text box, there we go. And then for fonts I want to use Crazy Crabs, which is a font that is used throughout my magazine. So I'll just pick that one. And then I go up here and you change the size by doing that. And then I'll just type test 1, but I prefer it when it's all in caps. So there you go. And then to change colors, I just scroll down. This is my color that I have already picked before. So there we go. There's the font. And that's how I changed the color of it. Right, so now I'm gonna show you how I did the curve like this. So what I did was click the pen tool, and I just picked a point, picked another point, and then oh, 1 second, undo. Okay, and then I just pulled it down to bend it or shape it however I wanted to. So say I wanted it like that. So now I've got that there. Then you're going to click on your selection tool again, and then you are going to reverse here, over here, just so that there's no color there. And then you click on the text, and then you hold it down and go to type on path. Then I clicked on this, and then I picked my font, which was Crazy Crabs. And then I upped the sizing, so say 30. And then I just wrote out the word. But okay, to show that this works better, I'm going to change the font, make it a bit bigger. Let's go bigger than that. Okay. And then let's just go 1, 2. Oh, there you go. So sometimes it doesn't really work as well because of the shape of the text, but most of the time I make it fit, and if it doesn't work then I'll just create a new path. So I'll just do it again. Here you go. If I wanted it to go further up, I just go like that, then I go here, then I go down like that, say right, and put that. Okay, and then back to text. What size font is 72? Okay. Oh. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Let's change font. Crazy Crabs. Okay, now to get rid of the line at the bottom, I just came up here, because it's purple, just clicked none, and then clicked none as well. So yeah, that's how I created the curved text. It's two separate pieces, but there we go. And then for my padding, what I did is I click it and I click text wrap so that it wraps around the text and it doesn't have the text looking odd or whatever, because if I remove it, let's say, oh, nothing's changed. There you go. Now I can't see it. So that's no text wrap, so I just wrapped it so it is visible and it moves the text around more. And then for the lines, there's the paragraph styles. So this is paragraph style 2. But okay, so if I go to paragraph rules, then it changes the color of the line, and I preferred it to be the same as my house color. And I can also like change the width as well. And then I can also, on the text wrap, if I move this up, this is padding, obviously it's going to move the text further and further away. Obviously I don't want that big of a gap, so just leave it at 5. But yeah, and then that's what I did for a lot of these, and then I just changed the color of the text here. So let's change it to blue, let's say. So I did that. Go back to purple. Oh, whoops. And then I just made this text bigger, and then here I did the same curving thing. And then to get the images to fit into the box, what I did was, so I drew a box using the rectangle tool. So here you go, drew a box, and my automatic color is purple. And then I will bring in an image from my home folder. So let's see, let's just pick this image and bring it in. And now that it's too big, what I'm going to click is the auto fit. Well, there you go. So this will fill the frame, and then this one will just fit it proportionally to how it actually is. But majority of the time I just did that. And then, if I wanted to move it around, I just hold it and move it like that. And because I want it to stay the same size, or if I wanted to zoom in on the image, then what I do is I just move it around like that, or there you go, just move it out so that it fits more, but then that changes the proportion of it. So I think there you go. So yeah. And then another thing I learned in Photoshop, not in design, is how to edit an image. So like changing the lighting and the hue and the saturation, but I'll show you that after. So yeah, this is kind of what I learnt. Yeah. I learned how to make a box opaque as well. So let's say here. So what I did was I created a box using the rectangle tool, and then double clicked it. Where is it? So I just changed the tint, and then there we go. And then to type into it, I just, there you go. So yeah. A lot of the other stuff I did in my magazine is quite basic. So just bringing in images, layering images, and just adding fonts to different parts, because everything else I just kind of kept minimalistic. Then I changed it up with the color I used and the images and the type of font. So yeah. I'll show you how I edit my photos. So I don't really do anything like change much about the actual photo besides going on image and then adjustments, and then I'll just change the brightness, the levels, the hue, and the color balance as well. And sometimes I'll do shadows and highlights. So what I do is, so in brightness and contrast, I'll lower the contrast, up the brightness, because I quite like the background to be quite bright, and I find that the actual image itself is quite dark. So what I'm going to do is make it a bit brighter, so maybe 30, and I can come back and change it. And then contrast, I'll bring it up to about maybe 20. Put that on 20. And then I'll maybe look at the exposure. Oh, so if I bring it up, obviously it's gonna get brighter if I lower it. So I think I'll bring it up to about 10. Nope. And then something else I like to mess around with is the hue and the saturation. So obviously I quite like the images to be like quite different, but I tried this out before and I wasn't that big of a fan of it. So what I did was I just made the images a bit more unique looking, but not too standy outy like this. So I just maybe bring it to about 15, 16, and then the saturation levels, obviously I'm going to change how saturated the image is. So I just kind of up the saturation a little bit to maybe 20 as well. Then the lightness, just keep it at 0. Okay, and then I'll look at the color balance as well. So sometimes I prefer the images to be a bit more blue, so I'll just move it more to the cyan. And then here as well, and that way. Okay, and then yeah, that's kind of all I really look at. I don't really pay much attention to anything else. Sometimes I'd up the highlights and make them stand out more, but yeah, other than that I don't really do much because I quite like the images to look quite natural. Yeah. Okay, this is an umbrella diffuser and it diffuses the light and makes it softer. Okay, these are barn doors and they help angle the light, so you can close them or have them open and the light will go out. These are gels and they're used to be put in front or between the barn doors, and they'll add color effects to the images you take. So this is the remote from the screen roller, and how you use it is the dials on here. So to bring this down, I'm just gonna it's the honeycomb grid, and it's used to help polarize the light and focus the light on a certain point. This is a light stand, and it lets me control how high I want the light to be, or I can angle it. I don't want to risk it. Yeah.